the owner of this particular gallery, and these are my friends and associates, and they'll introduce themselves.
My name is Cedric Huckabee. I am a student of Dr. McAnthony's, and I'm a professor at the University of Texas at Arlington, and a fan of Mr. Gilbert's work for many, many years.
Thank you. And may I ask, how do you give back to the community, sir?
I would say I give back to the community by mentoring young artists and sort of trying to help them along in their role in art, like Dr. McAnthony helped me, or like the influence of Gilbert and his work.
And let me just add to that, because Cedric is probably not going to say it. He's being really, really modest, but he's one of the new up-and-coming artists in America today. And his work has been exhibited not only on a national scale, but on an international scale. And you know, he can tell you more about what he's doing than I can, but I know he's not going to say it because he's just a modest young man. But he's one of the up-and-coming, I would say, beyond emerging artists in the world today. And look for him.
Well,
look for his name. He's going to be pretty well known.
I would say this right now. I think one of the important things, and the things that I would want to think should be noted, is the role of these mentoring artists in this generation. Mr. Gilbert Young, the stuff he's done to influence art over the years. I think that's what's exceptional. I'm still taking notes from them, and I'll sit and listen, because to me, they've been on ground that I just need to soak up and understand.
I thank you so much. Would you be so kind to introduce this gentleman right here in the right here? Would you be so kind? Yes, sir.
He may not know him that well.
Okay.
Okay, that's Monroe Henderson. Okay, and he assisted me in shows for many, many years, driving all over the United States of America to do different shows for certain periods of time. And one of the biggest shows that we had was in Atlanta, Georgia. We were there for like 2 weeks, and we had a 30 by 40 tent that we filled, and we were the first group to exhibit at Piedmont Park in Atlanta, Georgia, in the 40-year history of that show during the time that we were there. So I'll let him say what he wants to say.
Well, we basically the first group that they allowed out of Texas to come to their show. Then they asked us to come and bring real art. Well, we told them that's all we had was real art. And other than that, I guess they were pleased with what we brought with us, but that's what we do.
Well, we thank you so much for your community. We're going to keep it moving, if you don't mind. Young man?
Okay, my name is Albert Shaw, and I'm a visual artist, painter, make Speedy, and I live in Dallas, and I've known Mr. McAnthony here probably since the time I got out of school, and met Cedric, a few years ago, and seen his work in a lot of different places, like the African American Museum in Dallas, the museum in Fort Worth, and I've known Monroe quite some time, probably because he married a friend of mine who's a gallerist in Arlington. And this young man here, I've known about who he was, and I think we ran into each other, maybe in Atlanta, maybe in New York, somewhere, but I remember years ago, somebody tried to get me to do this, He Ain't Heavy, because they had seen it and they wanted a version of it. I said, no, I don't do that. I said, I think the brothers in Atlanta that did that, you need to contact him.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, I've been doing art for at least 3 or 4 decades.
Umpteen years.
Yeah, and you know, it's good to be in Dallas and good to be in Texas and see how things have grown since the time when I was coming up, when I first went to school and studied art. And one of the things that I want to emphasize is the relationship between the older artists and the younger artists. You know, for instance, I ran into some of Cedric's students, and I know that, you know, he's mentoring them and teaching them. I learned a lot from McAnthony. He's a few decades maybe older than me.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think it's very important for the younger artists and the old artists to maintain this communication, because we're all standing on somebody's shoulder.
That's right.
So we have to, you know, keep it real and keep the ties, communication together. And so that's kind of what I kind of talk to young artists, and continue to associate and be with old artists, and trying to get some of my work done in the meantime.
They're going to really appreciate those kind words of wisdom. And gentlemen, we have one last person to talk to America, our community. Sir, would you be so kind and introduce yourself?
Thank you. My name is Gilbert Young, and I have been doing artwork all my life. From the age of 7, when I first recognized, a teacher put me on stage, and I got to do the Easter Bunny. And after I got finished, all my little colleagues in, I think, in 2nd grade or whatever grade that was, I can't even remember now, was clapping and yelling, and I thought, oh, this is for me. And I knew at that particular time that this was something that I wanted to pursue, and by the grace of God, I was able to do all that I did. I can't say too much more than what the gentleman behind me or the gentlemen have already said and alluded to about us as a society and as a people and as a community, especially the community that we love so much, which is art and creativity. Sometimes we are not recognized with our ability to the outside world or the community at large. Sometimes it does take a lifetime to be recognized. But that's the wonderful part of it. It is not that we get fame early, but that we do have an ability to leave a living record of creativity that once we were here. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know that we have a bunch of young and very creative and very dynamic young people behind us, and they will carry on the song that we sang, and hopefully it will be heard throughout the world, as it is beginning to do so. As you said, internationally known individuals, and with the advent of technology, this is a task that is visible to us and can be attained by us, because we have the technology now to be seen around the world, and our voices can be heard immediately. So I'm so happy to be a part of that transition, born in 1941, and still be around here. And in a few weeks, I'll have my 80th birthday, which means I'm officially an old dude. Right? So I probably get my letter from Washington, D.C. this year. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave some of my remarks to the audience that I have here. So I would like to reserve that fact and cut it at this point in time.
I'd like to thank all of you gentlemen for being so transparent and sharing your kind words of wisdom from that school called Hard Knocks.
Okay, let me say one other thing.
Yes.
Gilbert may or may not be aware of the fact that that we've all shared in exhibits that we didn't know each other were were part of. I mean, it was just there. We recognized the name, we recognized the work, and we had a chance to admire it or whatever it was about it that we felt. And but we might not have known each other personally at that particular time. But we do know about certain paintings that we've seen, and Gilbert is one of the ones that whose painting that we all commented on as artists that we thought was really a strong concept in terms of what he was doing. You see, and but the story is the same whether it was old or new. You do what you do because it's what you got to do. It's because that's where your heart is. That's where your love is. The money is fine. We all want to make money. You know, you can't beat money in the way the world is today. But we do art because it's something that we got to do. We just got to do it. We can't help but to do it. You know, it's just in our souls. It's a part of our spirit. And there's nothing we can do that will ever change it.
So you mean to tell me that art is a drug? That art is a drug?
It's
all right,
joy.
folks. It's a drug. I need my drug money.
It is a drug. You're addicted to it. Yeah, it is. You're addicted to it. I don't care what age you are. You're addicted to it.
I'm OG.
Yes,
That's
you
what they
can.
call me.
Can I say one more thing?
Please do.
I'd like to bring a special attention to this brother right here, because even though I live in Dallas and I'm showing in his gallery, I'm just glad that he is still here in the community with this space. You know, over the years we've had Hispanic people, black people, white people, other genders, or whatever.
You doggone right. And it never was about the money. You know, it never was about, because if it was the money, I would have been gone a long time ago. What I have done is supported the gallery for all these years.
Absolutely, brother.
You know, and I don't regret not one minute of it. Not 1 minute of it do I regret.
That's great.
You know,
That's good.
because I could go back and
Still standing.
Oh, don't let me get started now. You know.
Hello, Mr. Mack.
Hey, Sister Brown, how you doing?
I am good.
And that's one of the early supporters of this gallery, and she's always been a supporter. You know, and there are a few people who took advantage of this gallery, but it's not so much about me making money. It's about bringing culture to deprived areas and hoping that the people will catch on and understand the importance of art in the world, because that's nothing we can do with it. You got to have it. From the time you get up in the morning until the time you lay down at night, you're using some type of art. You just got to do it. See, like I was naive enough, I don't know the difference between naivety and being dumb. You know, but I thought anybody grown could draw. But that's not the case. You know, I always wanted to be a picture maker, and I would ask the grown person, show me how to picture. And when it didn't look like what I saw, I thought something was wrong with them. I said, and it took me a while to realize that you got to be a special person.
Yes, sir. Well,
to do this type of thing.
well, thank you so much. And on that note, I really appreciate everyone. And until the next time, thank you so much. Okay.
And next time, don't run out of film when you see people talking.